Join in. Let's talk about life, faith, and beauty, and so much more. So let's empower each other and be informative. Yeah. So get inspired and have real, true queen conversation. Let's have queen, yeah, conversation.
Hey, this is DeQuana Farrell, the host of Queen Conversation. I'm so excited about episode 6. I have somebody near and dear to my heart that's on the podcast today, and I'm not going to spend any time. I'm not going to waste any time. We're jumping into the introduction because we have a lot to talk about today. So my guest today is Ashley Onyia. She's a woman who's worn many hats and many titles. She is the current founder and CEO of Marathon Medical, LLC. Marathon is a behavioral health clinic accredited by the Joint Commission and certified by the Ohio Department of Mental Health. Founded in January of 2020, Marathon's mission is to restore the dignity and high quality of life to those impacted by substance abuse disorders. In a year's time, Marathon has enjoyed exponential growth, employing 10 medical and 10 counseling professionals in Dayton, Ohio. Marathon offers a robust, sober living program for individuals in dire need of controlled environment to assist with their sobriety and mental health counseling services for those who qualify. Ashley is a proud resident of Dayton, Ohio, having moved here when she was 12 years old from Los Angeles with her family. She's a graduate of Chaminade Julienne Catholic High School. She received her bachelor's in science and interpersonal communications from Bowling Green State University and obtained her master's of divinity degree from Weinbrenner Theological Seminary in Findlay, Ohio. Her mission is to be a conduit of information and connect individuals to resources they need for their next level. So glad to welcome to the podcast Ashley Onyia today. Hey,
sis.
Hey, girl. Hey, I'm so happy.
Wow. That bio. Whoa, boy, that's a lot. I'm gonna chop that up. Huh?
Everybody says that when I read their bio. It's all good. Like, no, seriously, I think it's good. It's to the point. It's to the point.
I feel like a guest preacher.
I feel. Yeah. God bless you. God bless you. When I read the bio. You are the guest.
On the A selection right quick before the sermonic solo.
Right, sermonic solo. Here we go. Y'all don't mind us. We're going to act up today. So actually, I got some this or that questions. We start the podcast like this every single time. Okay. Yes. So morning or evening?
Say that again.
Morning or evening?
Now morning.
Morning? You're a morning person?
It used to be evening. I used to be able to stay up for days. Like I used to be able to get like an hour or two of sleep and be just good. I know when it's midnight before I look at my watch. My body says night night.
Look at you being an adult. Love or money?
They are the same. What do you mean?
I knew that was gonna be like. I knew that was gonna be like. Hold up.
But you know what? I'll tell you. Love.
Good.
I've had both. My family went through a time where we had exponential amount of money, and wasn't a lot of time, wasn't a lot of money, love in the building. So,
love. There you go. Because you can always make the money. Yeah. Okay. Book or movie?
Movie.
Love it. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Okay. Reading or writing?
Reading, I guess.
Okay. What kind of, do you do any writing?
Not anymore. I used to. You couldn't tell me I was a Missy Elliott when I was growing up. I got a whole book of rhymes.
And you probably could have did it for real, like if you wanted to.
Listen,
okay. Last one.
There's a legit reason why not. We can go into it later.
Okay, we can talk about that later. Freedom or hope?
Hope.
Yeah. That's good.
Hope.
What song is playing? What song is on repeat on your shuffle? Would you listen to this?
Bounce by Masego.
Hey, I like Masego.
Yeah, it's an old one, but it's a good one.
Yeah, that's good. So Ashley, I am so excited for all of the stuff you're doing. I've always been excited for the stuff you're doing. So first of all, we met probably 6, 7, maybe 8 years ago at this point, right?
Only 8?
It seems that way. Maybe more.
35 this year. No, more.
Yeah. I guess it was a long time ago.
Yeah, about 10 years.
We met through a mutual friend doing ministry stuff. And life has evolved quite a bit in so many different ways. And your current endeavor is Marathon Medical. I want you to, I talked a little bit about it in the bio, but I really want to have you explain how that came about, how the stars align, that this is your new endeavor, because and when you at the beginning of your bio, when you said, "Hey, I wear a lot of hats and a lot of titles," like you have, I've literally watched your evolution in so many ways. But talk to us about Marathon Medical, because I want to dive into that, and I want to get deep into the weeds on it a little bit.
Okay. So I'll be churchy here for a second because I haven't been in a long time.
This ain't that kind of podcast. And I'm just playing. You good? Go ahead.
One of my favorite sermons is "Nothing Will Be Wasted" by T.D. Jakes. Mm-hmm. And that really explains the hats that I've worn and why I had to wear them. Because Marathon, as of right now, is a culmination of all of those hats I've worn.
Wow. Okay.
I started as after I graduated, I moved back home, started as a teacher, long-term sub, and I was running a after-school program for middle schoolers. That morphed into me going to Central State and working for Central State, running the Upper Bound program there, being in the high schools, and really getting a taste of education. I was really passionate at one point. I have a whole business plan and everything, partner set up, a board set up to start a charter school. I wanted to start a boarding school. So I was working on that endeavor for years. And then I just wasn't making enough money.
Quite frankly,
because I really feel like these kids have enough people preaching at them. There's enough one-liners. They've heard them all. They get all the assemblies with all the motivational speakers and all of that. What these kids need is somebody to help pay an application fee. Right. Somebody to give them a job when they need one. Somebody to be in position. And so I left. I really loved kids. I really loved what I was doing, but I left it to go make money. I am not at all.
Not about to say.
No, because I've been able to position myself to where the kids that I taught, I had one kid on my payroll for a second. I'm able to connect kids to the kids. They're grown now. They kids are in school now, but I'm able to connect them to resources to where, I got one of my old students wants to open up a girls group home. So she's working on that, and she was able to call me and, oh yeah, I got you. One of my, former business partners used to plug her in. So I left that and became a electronic medical records consultant. I was teaching doctors and nurses how to use their computer systems when they would upgrade to a different software or something. So I was training on the software. I was helping with the installation of the software. We would troubleshoot. So I learned the ins and outs of an EMR system, which is really just a medical office. I know how a hospital works. I know how a doctor's office works. I learned all of that, teaching them how to use their computers and stuff. And I've been all over the country doing this. I've seen all sorts of offices, all different structures. But that started to become unstable because people know how to use their computers. The jobs became less, they're not as long as they used to be. They don't pay as well as they used to. So I came off the road, started a research clinic. I don't know what took me to it, but there was a guy on YouTube, and he basically had a YouTube channel of how to open up a clinic. And I watched every single video. I contacted him. I paid him to be my consultant. And you know what? It was my cousin. I had a family member at the time that needed to work. He couldn't work. He couldn't make money right at this point. He was really unhireable. And so I was like, well, let's create something that can hire you.
Right.
So he moved from Texas all the way up here. He moved his life, and we started the research clinic. And that did very well for about a year. That did better than any of us anticipated. And I was in partnership with him and another doctor that we knew. And everybody started getting a little greedy. Instead of, making the pie bigger, they just wanted a bigger piece of it.
Right.
And so I left. I felt I wasn't valued as a partner. Even though I paid for everything, it was a mess. I left and I took the research clinic with me, tried to do it myself. And it was just a failing mess. And I spiraled into 3 years of depression in myself. Just so I really thought we made 6 figures in the first, few months of opening a business. I'm like,
it's legit.
Okay. Yeah, this is okay. We can do this.
Right.
And then it was all these promises from this consultant on YouTube that made it seem like this stuff was supposed to be easier and, make all this money. And I'm like, well, if he's making all this money, why is he asking me for all this money to be a consultant?
Right.
So I folded that, and
actually, before you go to the next stage, tell me about. Can you talk about the 3 years, that period of time, and what caused you or allowed you to kind of get out of that rut as well?
What caused me to get out of it was what I'm doing now.
Oh, that's amazing.
It went way south. It went way bad for a second. But Marathon was really my little lifesaver. It was I went through a lot of personal change. I grew up in high school, and college, especially. I was, the ministry leader. I got this MDiv.
Yeah.
I can preach. I can do all that stuff.
People's preacher. What you doing? I'm just
but I've always known I was gay. I've always known I was, so when I came out, I turned 30 and came out, and I'm just too old to play anymore. I'm just like, I can't do it.
Right.
So that came with its own changes and its own, things I had to accept about myself. At the same time, my business is failing. So in my head, I'm like, am I being punished? Oh God, maybe I shouldn't have done, it's a whole lot of stuff just trying to reconcile. And it lasted for some years. And luckily I was just able to keep going. I don't know how, I don't know.
Right.
I feel like I'm spoiled because it's just me. I'm a single woman, don't have any kids. So I don't have that story where, I got another mouth that I got to feed and got to make sure I make it. So I feel sometimes like, stop complaining. You can eat ramen noodles for a week. You'll be fine.
Right.
And I've done that, I ain't got no problem doing that, but I had to talk myself into it, and talk myself through it, and just be encourage myself through it. And it's part of when I left. I really left everything that stopped serving me. I left everything that just tolerated me. I left everything that didn't celebrate who I was.
Right.
I left everyone who wasn't in my corner. And it was ride or die for Ashley. And if you're not on this team, if you're not on this boat, that's okay. I don't hate you. I ain't got time for you right now. I got something to do.
Right.
At that time, as I'm folding my business, one of my friends is married, and he had a connection to a business partner I was with, and felt sorry for me for the way I was done at that business, and wanted to really mentor me and teach me. I don't know. He saw something in me. He saw himself in me. He saw enough in me to hire me on his business, and basically made me his number 2. I ran his offices, and so he had a community behavioral health clinic,
Mm-hmm.
And he's done quite a few of them. That's his bread and butter. This man has made millions of dollars just doing this business, and so when he brought me on, I'm competent enough to run a medical office.
Right, based on experience, right?
Because of my experience, and then my dad was a doctor,
Mm-hmm.
so my parents had a medical office when I was growing up. So I've been raised around medicine. I'm not intimidated by it. So I learned how to run this business, basically working for my good friend's husband, and then he and it stopped working because I started seeing greed. I started seeing the way people were being treated. We just have a different philosophy of care, and a different reason as to why we're doing this. And it's a very long story, so I'm not going into it. He linked up with somebody who did me very dirty.
Wow.
I still was doing the EMR job, went to New York for a job, came back to no job. Came back to the title, the position that I had at this clinic was gone. I got fired because I had multiple streams of income. So,
where they do that?
Yeah. But thank you, because the one thing you can never take from somebody is what they learn. It's your education.
Yeah, that's true.
So, while he was out gallivanting and doing whatever, I was running his business. And so I was like, well, I could either try and get hired at another clinic and have, my paycheck and my day be in the hands of somebody else who, if they like me, I'm here. If they don't, I'm not. Or I can go and
do it myself.
There you go. So I linked up with a friend because I really am more comfortable on a team. Mm-hmm. I linked up with a friend and tried to do a partnership. She'd already had a particular type of medical business. And so we tried to do a partnership, and it just didn't work. The visions weren't the same. And so we started that in like November of 2019. And by the end of December, we knew this was not going to work out. We both, got her plan. I got my plan. I respect it. We respect it, So we parted ways. And in January, I had a decision. Because we were already seeing patients. I had a doctor who was willing to come and see patients and continue medication, because he too was fired from this crazy place we worked at. It's such a long story. But he had patients that didn't want to stay at this crazy clinic. They wanted to follow him. They wanted to follow me. They liked the way that we were treating them. So we started seeing patients. I set up my office basically the same way it was set up at the other place, the same type of EMR system, and just kept going with what I knew. I know this is probably longer than what you want, but
no, we're here. We got time. Go ahead.
But in January, I filed the LLC.
Nice.
January 15th, 2020. And I was like, all right, we'll try it. We'll see. What's crazy is a little bit after that, or right before then, it was right before then, my parents were moving, my mom's cleaning up, and she finds this box of my father's stuff. My father's passed away in 2005. She finds some documents of my dad's, and in it, in one of those old school 90s plastic sleeves that she's putting documents in, was a business plan for a methadone clinic that my dad wrote. Complete full business plan. It was dated for October of 1998, which is maybe 4 months after we moved out here to Dayton. He wrote it when he was sitting by himself in LA. Typed it up. Even the numbers were almost the same. They're almost still relevant.
Wow.
So my business plan is my dad's business plan with Marathon's name in it.
That is amazing, Ashley.
We just
talk a little bit about your heritage and your father a little bit, if you don't mind. I'm from where your dad.
My dad was from Nigeria. It's from Enugu. He was a chief. Came from a line of chiefs. My dad was a doctor. He was a boss. He was a G. He was a flawed man, but you know, he was my pops.
Most men are.
most men are, but
humanity in general.
His mother is his mother. Her nickname was Ezenwine. That's what they called her. We called her Mumsy. I didn't know about this until I met my older cousin later on. Ezenwine is an Igbo term meaning Eze is king, wine is women. She was called the king of women.
Wow.
Her sister, my auntie Rosa, was a warden at a men's prison. She was actually killed there. They hung her because they didn't like that they didn't like her control. She held it down. So I come from a line of women in business. I come from a line of strong women.
Yeah, and then your mom. Talk about your mom a little bit.
What's crazy is my mom and my grandmother, my dad's mom, they have the same name. They're both Veronica. And my mom's been my business hero since I was a kid. My mom, their first business was Simply Sparkle? Yeah, Simply Sparkle was a stationery store. And then she had a liquor store that they owned. And then my dad started Alpha Medical. So I had a research business that was Alpha Research. He had Alpha Medical Group. That was the practice that he had and made a lot of money. And then he did a whole bunch of crazy stuff, blew it all. We'll talk about it later. But my mom helped him set that up. And then when that blew up, we didn't have anything. She moved us out here. She restarted. She got a job as working for Cox Radio, selling advertising because she was always hounding in us that you have to, if you're going to work anywhere, you got to be in control of your income somehow. Yeah. And so on the radio, she had a base salary, but she still had commission. And so she would be the highest earner every quarter. She was at it. I didn't realize it until I was in college and grown that I grew up in a neighborhood. I grew up in Clayton on a block where every other household was a 2-parent household. Everybody else had a mom and dad in their house.
Mom was holding it down.
My mother was holding it down. And so when she left that to do real estate, which is 100% commission.
That's her thing.
And when I was in high school, I watched my mom. My mom and my stepfather bought this big house. The people in the office that she worked with literally had a lottery for how long it would take for her to go into foreclosure in this house. My mom went back to school.
That's the house I've been to?
Huh? Yeah.
That's the house I've been, okay.
Yeah. My mom went back to school and got her broker's license. I watched my mother raise us, do homework, study for tests, all that kind of stuff. And she got her broker's license, start her own real estate company. Amazing. And Priority Plus has been one of the top realty companies in Dayton for killing it.
A long time. Right.
So killing it. That's who I come from. So I don't have a lot of sympathy for myself.
Right.
That's what got me through those 3 years though, for real. It's like, you know enough to get out of here. It'll shake.
You've seen enough, right?
I've seen enough. I've been here before. When I tell you, we went from, the first school I went to was the Buckley School. That's where Michael Jackson's kids go to school. Mm-hmm. We went from living like that. We had a yacht. They had money. They had bread. To, we lived in a 1-bedroom motel by the time my youngest sister was born. Mm. We lived with my mom's friends for a while, bouncing around LA. So that's why I said love versus money. I've seen both.
Seen both.
And we were the closest knit family when we didn't have any money. All we had was each other. My sister and I would take donuts out the motel office, the front office, and that would be our breakfast for that morning. Mm-hmm. So it's a crazy story, but I have legit lived two lives, right? Both sides of it. So that's what got me through. It's who I am.
Yeah. So actually let's talk about some of the folks that do the work in your office, some of the professionals that are there, and the value that they add to the business that you have. Because one of the things I noticed you said about the patients is they like the way I treated them and the doctor treated them and the way that we administer care. Talk about that a little bit and how that establishes you or distinguishes you from others doing the same thing?
It's in our mission. Our mission statement, the more I read it, the more I look at it. I came up with it. I wasn't this deep when I thought about it, but I see what God was doing with it. It really is about restoring dignity to people's lives. It's not about fixing them. Right. It's not about, giving them some cookie cutter way to recovery. Mm-hmm. It's about restoring their dignity. It's, even the person that stinks off the street and is still high on meth, they still get called sir. Mm-hmm. It's about respecting. I've seen clinics where clients go disrespected all day. They I worked somewhere once where the wait time is literally 7 hours.
Wow.
How do I get my life back? So the patients are on a medication that they have to see the doctor for every 2 weeks or every week or something like that. But how do I work that in my schedule? How do I explain to my job that
I sit there for a whole
week I have to be here from this time? I have to miss a whole day of work because I got to sit here. And when I learn why, it has nothing to do with their recovery. You're not doing this because it makes it gives them a better chance to recover. You're doing this so you get to bill more.
That's crazy.
And so we really offer care and don't bill much. And it just is what it is. I don't make nearly as much as I could because I can't see somebody really getting their life back, going to work, having a relationship with their family, and they got to sit in my office all day.
Exactly.
So we really are about giving people dignity. We're about, trusting clients. In our sober living house, I tell people all the time, it might not be for you.
Right.
It's not inpatient. We give you a lot of rope, and you can do one of two things with that rope. You can hang yourself, or you can use it to climb. But we give people a lot of room because I don't believe in clocking grown people. Mm-hmm. We do urinalysis. My medical director is a toxicologist, so I know exactly what you've taken. If you mess up, it's on you. We don't charge patients for their stay. If they mess up, it's really on them. So we have clients who have really taken advantage of it and are like, this is the best place.
Right.
A few clients where this is the longest time they've ever been sober. But it's because somebody isn't, trying to lord over them, or it's a lot of abuse that happens in mental health care.
I can only imagine. And I'm not by any means a medical professional at all, or a drug counselor, addiction, anything like that. But I can only imagine that the reality that you're presenting to them in that treatment is what happens in real life, right? In real life, if they're living on their own, there's nobody there over them telling you,
That's
can't,
the point.
You got to be back at 5. You got to, you know what I mean? And so it is more close to reality than actually all of the restrictions and the restraints that's put on the other programs. So it makes sense to me, right? If you really want to thrive, you're going to thrive with these liberties, right?
Yeah.
And freedoms,
with these liberties, and we want you to experience a little bit of life. We want you to be a little stressed about something, go get a job and be pissed about your job so you can be in an environment where we can help you learn how to live life and be pissed about your job.
Right.
That's coping mechanisms, So give us real life scenarios so we can show you, okay, this is what you do, because this is, and what I tell people all the time, we're going to put it on the walls, they said in the houses, is unnormalized normal. There's no such thing as normal.
In reality, you're right.
There's no such thing, so everybody has this, they're striving. I just want a normal life, man. I'm like, what the heck do you think?
What are you striving for? Exactly.
And I had to tell the guys, I used one of my properties, the house I used to live in is now one of my sober houses. And, I tell them all the time, like, you're living in a house I've tried to end my life in. I was ready for somebody to just come and find me.
Right.
And y'all think I got it all together. Y'all think I'm Ashley. I'm running this. That's Miss Ashley. She owns this place. She run this place.
Right. Everybody has a story, and I like that you're being authentic and real and transparent about all of that.
Yeah.
And one thing I've seen with all of the women that have been on this series is that they're not shy about highlighting their low lights. You see what I'm saying? Because sometimes it's the low lights that really literally make who we are. That's the make or break it, right?
Yeah. People don't understand. You know, they look at the little Instagram posts and the Facebook posts and stuff, and that's the highlight reel. That's the good
I'm traveling. I'm living my life. It wasn't always like this, right?
I didn't go live when I was sitting in my garage in my car with the car on.
You hear what I'm saying?
I didn't go live for that. I don't take pictures of that.
Right.
You know, you don't take pictures of looking for pills.
No.
You know, so right. You know, you celebrate the wins.
You celebrate the win.
You have to know, you gotta let everybody know there has been
some failures. You hear what I'm saying? Yeah. I feel you 100%. Let me ask you, how has COVID impacted the work? I love the fact that you started this and birthed this in the dead of a pandemic. I love it.
So let me tell you, it was the best, and it was the best of times. It was
the worst of times, right?
So the one thing COVID did, I think financially for almost everybody, is level the playing field.
Mm-hmm.
So it stopped the expectation for certain bills. It stopped the expectation for me to have to pay certain things up front. Mm-hmm. It helped me actually with one of my licenses. It helped me. They impacted a rule because we happened to apply
at the time.
We applied before the pandemic hit.
So
because of our application, they said, well, we see you did it before the shutdown. So we're assuming, you know, you're serious about this, is what you want. And we're assuming you can't pay for it because everything's shut down.
Right.
So go ahead and wipe that out. You don't have to pay for it. Put that down. And when I tell you that was maybe a $20,000 miracle.
Yeah.
That just, you know, and it changed the game for us.
Oh, absolutely.
I signed the lease to our space that we rent in Centerville, Ohio, a week before the shutdown.
Wow.
And my landlord was not one of those landlords who was like, oh, pay us later. No.
Pay now.
Pay that rent.
Bless you.
So that rent had to get paid. The condo fees with that had to get paid. And because I didn't do the LLC for Marathon until January of 2020, we qualified for no COVID funds.
Yeah.
Marathon qualified for nothing.
Okay.
So this is not a business thriving off of PPP loans. And
I was just about to say that. So Ashley, you're not caught up in the PP scam.
No. I have. So I was able to get one as a sole proprietor for what I do because I'm able to pay myself. But
right.
I looked it up. I think my finance guy used the wrong code. I got to check on that. But I wasn't able to do it until the second round.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I did.
You're operational at that point, right?
I say that again. Yeah, we've been operational, but here's the killer. We've been seeing patients since November 2019. I was unable to bill until August of 2020.
Wow.
So I had to run a business all of that time through 2020 without being able to bill.
Yikes.
So when I say I had to get creative, I became all types of consultants. I taught English as a second language to Chinese kids.
Hustle was real, baby. The hustle.
The hustle was crazy. But it had to get done. And bills that rent had to get paid. My doctor, you know, he was kind enough to not hound me. He understood, but yeah, we weren't able to bill until almost the end of the year. So
wow.
Yeah.
So and then some of the challenges of where you are in terms of your field, your profession, the business, some of the challenges, some of the joys.
The joys are I'm able to watch people get their lives back. I am diehard for the underdog. I'm a Libra to my core. I love to watch the person who they told wasn't gonna do nothing.
Because you've been that person. You've been in those.
I've been that person. So that's my thing. I love it. The government has created a group of people that intentionally, unintentionally, whatever, has created a group of people that have an undeserved sense of entitlement for people who were addicted to crack cocaine in the 90s, they had jails. They locked them up. You high on the streets, acting crazy, you stealing stuff, acting crazy, you go to jail. Opiate addicts, they have sober living house
conversation.
They have, they're literally paying me to house these people. All right.
Right.
But they don't understand that, that's a whole different dynamic. And then there's some people who they've been doing this so long, we call it the Suboxone shuffle. They go from one clinic to the next, one program to the next, yelling about their rights and what you can and cannot do to them and for them, what they, give me. And instead of taking ownership and, really being responsible for where they are and for where they want to go, it has really created a field of just really entitled people. It's really sick.
Wow. Ashley, how much of what people deal with as far as addiction is concerned, like I'm listening to your conversation, has to do with their psychological and mental?
All of it.
Yeah.
All of it. You can't be in line for something like fentanyl that you watching other people die and you tell me you don't have a mental health problem. That's
absolutely.
You're in line for something that you know is going to kill you.
What is the foundation for the counseling that they receive at Marathon?
Everybody goes through an assessment when they get in the door, and our person that does the assessments is mental health qualified as well. So she does the diagnosis, and some people end up dual diagnosed, the ADHD or PTSD and substance use disorder, opioid use disorder, whatever it is. So based on that, we sit with the client, develop a treatment plan, and go from there. It's based on what's on their treatment plan. If they need mental health meds, we connect them with the mental health agency that can do that. We're not doing that at this time. If they need medication to help keep them sober, then we start them on treatment with our doctor. Group therapy sessions, family therapy sessions, what have you.
Right.
Very individualized.
Yeah. So you said one of the joys is really seeing people get their life back. You're rooting for the underdog. What other joys do you have? I know employing people has to be one of them.
Oh my God. Payday is my favorite day. When I've knock on all types of wood,
right?
I haven't ever, since hiring people, I haven't had a pay period where I've said, okay, you can get paid, but you can't.
Right.
I'm always the person that takes the payroll hit if we need to take one, but we take them. But it really is a joy of mine to employ. All my staff is Black, save one. My best friend runs my front office. She runs my office. I don't worry about a thing at my office. I don't go into the office. It runs better when I'm not there.
Leave the folks alone now.
My sister, one of my sisters runs my HR. So just being able to give people, employ people. One of my former clients, he has gotten licensed, and he's a peer support specialist with us, and we're able to employ him.
That's great.
We're able to house people. Giving people housing is just
a major.
Oh my God!
There's a huge housing shortage, not just nationally, specifically in the Dayton, Ohio area, specifically in the Miami Valley. Housing shortage is real.
So and then taking some of these houses, watching these houses that I'm renting from people. I got a lot of older Black guys that own some of these rundown homes that no one's lived in them, no one's wanted to live in them, so they let them go. Well, we come along and say, well, listen, you fix it up, we'll rent it from you. We got houses that got brand new stuff on the inside, helping to renovate the whole community, trying to just, it's
revitalizing the economy overall.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's really, I pinch myself some days. I'm just like, this is
unreal.
This is good. I'm thankful. So
good stuff.
I'm just trying to be a good steward of it. It's hard, but I'm trying to be a good steward.
That's the biggest thing, right? Because we do want to enjoy our success, but we can't let it ruin the success either. So Ashley, any advice for somebody that is interested in what you do specifically, looking to possibly may have a history of witnessing addiction in their own family lives or whatever, but endeavors to kind of hop into this business, either from the medical side or from the entrepreneurial side, advice for somebody that is saying, hey, this might be something that I want to venture into?
Go work for somebody. Go work for a clinic. Try and get into the field and see, you know, what best practices are, where the points of improvement are. I tell everybody, your job is not a job; it's a contract. You know, you aren't just an employee. You're there to learn, and if you learn well enough, you know, you at Amazon long enough, you can learn how to start one.
You hear what I'm saying?
You can learn how to start. You should never be on a job for years and not know how to do this yourself. Like,
exactly.
You're there making it happen. Learn parts of it. Learn how to do it yourself. You know, so go into the field. Really submerge yourself in it. It's gonna, depending on what you're used to financially, it could be a little shock of a
right.
Of an adjustment, but it's worth it. And then you know, be teachable, be coachable. Grab somebody who has done this before to help you along the way. And keep going. You can do. You don't have to be. One crazy thing I learned when I started doing research is you don't have to be nobody special.
Right.
When I was going around the country doing EMR, teaching doctors and stuff about their computers, the people that run these hospitals ain't nobody special. You know, you don't have to be anything different, anything special. I plan on going back to school, and there's some things in the work, I guess, but it's not necessary to go to start. It's not necessary to start. Just start.
Just start. So, Ashley, what you got in the works? What you working on? What's coming up? What's going on? What's good? And let people know how they can connect with Marathon Medical, how we can support this mission and what you got going on as well.
Marathon's on Facebook. Just look up Marathon Medical. We got the Nipsey flag.
Nipsey.
Yes, it looks a little bit like it. But our phone number is but that's our, you know, that's my guy. That's the attitude in which we carry out our mission. We do it really with that Marathon continues mentality, and it's our motto on the logo is that recovery is a marathon and not a race.
Absolutely.
So you know, we're here with you for the long run.
Yeah, exactly. That's great.
So you said connect with me. Yeah.
And what you got going on? What else is good? Because you won't never have just one thing going on. I know you. Right.
In my truck. We gonna start a fleet. We gonna figure out how that go.
Okay. Logistics. Yeah. We're talking logistics.
Freight.
Okay.
Yeah, we're doing freight. My one of my good friends, he's owned a trucking company for the past few years, and it's done very well. And we have opportunity. Anyone who's interested, hit me up on here on Facebook. Just type in my name, you'll find me. But we are making a way where people who want to start trucking companies can come in, you know, basically with not a co-op, but in a partnership to where not just the revenue, but the expenses are shared as well.
Oh, that's amazing.
Because that's really what kills new trucking companies. It's the
startup costs. Yeah, and operations.
So we're trying to really push for Black entrepreneurship, and we need more. I mean, when I say Black entrepreneurship, I'm talking about Black enterprise. I want Black people to do more. You know, nothing is wrong with the lip glosses and the eyelashes, and nothing's wrong with, you know, baking and all that great stuff.
Not just product, services and
all that. But let's go. Let's really get into the dig deep, man. There's $1 billion government contracts out here, you know, sitting for us, but we don't have the companies. No one, you know, I'm not gonna say there's no companies, but there need to be more. So we're opening up an avenue for people to learn how to be in trucking. and start their own trucking company. So I got one of my other best friends. He's a high power fashion stylist in LA. He just bought his first truck and it hits the road on Monday. All right. So we helped him get hooked up with my boy John, and so his truck is going. He'll be buying another truck here in a few weeks. My truck I'll be buying hopefully next week, and the deal will be done and get that going in a couple weeks so that I can show people this is how it's done, this is what we're doing, and really open up some avenues for Black enterprise. So
that's amazing. That is amazing. All of what you are doing, all of what you've done, your journey has been amazing. I'm just grateful to have been a bystander.
You way more than a bystander, my G. Way more than a bystander, my G.
No, I'm seriously, like, I'm so proud of you and everything that you've done and all that you persevere through, because I know it's been a lot. But at the end of the day, you're resilient. You're brilliant. And I love the way your mind works. And I'm so grateful to have you on the podcast. And what can I say? We got to catch up. We need to sit down for dinner.
Right?
We need to sit down for Jollof and oxtails. Do you hear me?
Oh, come through. I'm downtown. Holla at me. I'm here.
But so glad to have you on Queen Conversations, Ashley. And I cannot wait until you come back with an update on the trucking company and whatever other endeavors you done hopped into since we last had a conversation. So I love you, sis. Be blessed. We'll talk soon.
Thank you. Yeah, bless
you. Thanks. Y'all, family, listen, Ashley, Onyia, if you don't know her, you need to get to know her. To know her is to love her. If you have a problem with Ashley, something's wrong with you, not something's wrong with her. So I thank you for joining us for this sixth episode of Queen Conversations. This literally started in March for Women's Month. I was like, I'll talk to a few women, and here we are. We're still doing it, and I love it. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for supporting. Please subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Share this conversation. It's real, it's relevant conversation. Until next time, y'all.
Come on, ladies, let's join in. Join in. My life, faith, and beauty, and so much more.